We're live.
We are.
Here we are. Episode 8. Is it? Is it 8?
Episode 8, bro. We're flying through these things.
Episode
Since
8.
we started, we are flying through this shit.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
8 episodes in.
I'm having a fucking blast, Denny. I'll tell you that. I enjoy doing this.
It's been a lot of fun. I want to see that subscriber count go up. So if you just click play on the video, go ahead and click on like, and then after that click on subscribe, and then after that go into the comments, say anything, and it all helps.
Anything you want.
It all
Anything you want.
helps.
You could say the craziest right-wing shit in the world. Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
We'll just we'll address it. You know what I mean? Don't be a fucking dick.
I mean, you can be a dick. Be a dick if you want.
Oh yeah. I meant don't be a dick by not being a dick and not writing anything.
Yeah, if you don't write anything,
You need to write
you're
something.
a dick. You're a huge dick by not writing anything.
That's being a dick if you don't write anything. Exactly. Well, we're gonna start putting out shorts of our videos, which we both think is gonna work pretty good as well. So I think that'll get us out there a little bit more. Today, episode 8, we have a great little lineup for you guys. Today will be the first episode we don't talk about Ukraine. I figured I put that out there. I will say that the latest reports that I've heard of going on with the Ukraine-Russia conflict is that Putin is now firing and jailing some of his top officials over the, I guess, the failure of the takeover of Ukraine. He's very upset. If you're someone who is powerful enough to stand against Putin, he's probably going to foresee your motives and will jail you as soon as possible. That is oligarchy, folks. Authoritarian. That is why America is number one. In essence, the thought of America is the best in terms of number one in terms of you know what I mean. Number one in terms of freedom. Okay. Number one in terms of freedom.
No. That's still a no, but it's okay. That's fine. I get it. I get what you're trying to say.
The concept of it.
The concept, sure.
A lot of corruption in America. A lot of corruption in a lot of countries. A lot of corruption in America. Yes. All right. With that being said, that is the only update. Other than that, he's still attacking. He still has a fortification around Ukraine, and there are still efforts from NATO to evacuate as much people out of Ukraine as humanly possible. There's a lot of humanitarian crisis efforts being displayed by NATO forces and countries that are like-minded to NATO. With that being said, today let's talk a little bit about congratulations to Ketanji Brown. We got a new Supreme Court justice on the seat. First black African American female in the court, and that is history. With that being said, she is 100% qualified. She's a woman that I feel very confident that she's that she was approved, only because she's a public defender. She's voted on the side of the American citizen. She's voted on the side of corporations as well. So there's a little bit of balance there that I feel, and I don't know the details to those specific cases that went towards the corporation's favor, but hey, sometimes the corporations are right. I know it's rare, but sometimes the corporations can be right. It depends on the cases. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I wouldn't say that that's the case, that sometimes corporations are right. I think that she's not like a radical progressive. She's a run-of-the-mill Democrat, kind of down the middle, which in terms of the Supreme Court is a good thing, because most of the Supreme Court justices are to the right, to the far right. So to have somebody kind of down the middle is better than another right-winger on the Supreme Court. So it's good that she's liberal. I wish she was a little further left, but that's okay. I'd much rather have her than have a Republican appoint another awful piece of shit on the Supreme Court.
Yeah, of course, Denny. I know you are referring to Amy Coney Barrett, who was
One
the
of them.
last. She's one of them, and then of course the Brett Kavanaugh. I like beer.
Yeah,
I like beer and women and parties.
he's a clown.
This guy. When you look at his court hearing next to Ketanji Brown's court
It's like
hearing,
night
I
and
mean,
day.
bro,
Yeah.
it's like night and day. With that being said, I got some clips for you guys. If you want to go to the day 3 hearing, her wearing the blue blazer.
Blue blazer.
Um,
This one right here. Gotcha.
yes, go to 9:15. You. A lot of what these Republican senators do is, you know, they will try to put up quite a show in the questionings of any Supreme Court justice nominee that a Democratic president may put up. Oh man, get ready for the show. He's pretty blatant on how much of the cultural issues that's going on in America. It's blatant how he kind of tries to push that narrative during his questionings and tries to make the whole hearing process a little bit more cultural, political than would be just plain political, right? Fair. Maybe a little bit of things about judging. That'll be good answers to ask. So we got Ted Cruz at 9:15. Let's check it out.
You said this was egregious. What did you sentence Stewart for? The guidelines said 97, 121 months. Prosecutor said 97 months. You said it's egregious. 6,700 images. You come in with 57
Time
months.
has expired.
Why
Senators
did
used
you
2
sentence
minutes
him to
over the
just
allotted.
57 months in the Stewart case? Do you want to address that? Because you're claiming it's cherry picking. In fact, you're welcome to explain any of these cases, but let's take the Stewart case. Why
Senator Coons,
did you sentence him for half the amount?
you're not recognized, Senator. Senator
If
Coons,
you don't want her to answer that question?
you wouldn't allow her anyway.
Mr. Chairman, she may answer the question.
You
I'm
wouldn't
asking-
allow her anyway, he
You've
said.
gone over the
Egregious.
time, Senator, by 2 minutes.
Why
and
she's
a half.
because you've interrupted me for 2 minutes, Mr. Chairman. Will you allow her to answer the question, or do you not want the American people to hear why, with someone she described as an
There
egregious
comes a point, Senator, where you get a little bit.
Chairman Durbin, will you allow her to answer the question?
You won't allow her to answer.
I will happily allow her to. The question is
Senator
why
Cruz, you may
did you
proceed.
sentence
Chairman.
Stewart, an egregious child pornography possessor,
So,
to
Judge Jackson.
half of the amount
Please, Senator.
requested by the prosecutor?
Please, Senator.
Will you allow
So
her
you
to
can pause
answer
that.
the question, Chairman Durbin?
Senator,
So what he's trying to do, as also what other Republicans try to do, is they were trying to paint her as someone who is in favor of child pornography, someone who is in favor of pedophilia. Come on.
Yeah.
Do you understand? Like, if you're not paying attention to politics and you hear about this, you would either think she's completely crazy to even support anything like pedophilia, and then you would think that the whole Democratic Party's crazy for nominating her
Right.
to be a Supreme Court justice, or you would think that this guy, Ted Cruz, is just over-exaggerating and he's trying to make a cultural issue. He's trying to make up any reasons he can dig out of his asshole to make her look bad. And the thing he chooses, along with several others, is she's for pedophilia because in one case, or two cases, I believe one case, she gave the offender 3 months in jail because he had pictures of the kids, which is horrible. You understand?
Yeah.
But there's other cases where she's given child offenders 25 years, 30 years. You understand? Are you going to give somebody 30 years because they have pictures of kids? No, you're not. You're going to give them a couple of months. You know what I mean? But I don't know if you're going to do that and necessarily make a difference. You know what I mean? Like, each case is what I'm trying to say is each case is different. You understand? And what am I trying to say? The punishments that you give out has to fit the crime. And she's on record of being very, very fair with her judgments. And they're cherry picking one case that they can say, oh, look, 3 months seems a little low. Let's make her look bad and say she's in favor of pedophilia and soft on crime on pedophilia. That's ridiculous.
She also explained that she tries to follow kind of the outline that Congress sets when it comes to jail time for certain offenses. So I'm also sure that maybe some of these shorter terms, which should be longer, are due to the fact that she's trying to play within a certain lane, and not trying to overstep, especially being a black woman in the position that she's in. She can be very easily scrutinized for anything, even if it is putting away a pedophile or anything like that. The Republicans will use anything to try to demonize and make her look bad, as they are here in the hearing. So, I think that's another thing to keep in mind, that when it comes to us wanting her to be a little more heavy-handed with certain offenses, we have to understand that sometimes she's probably in a position where she can't, simply because of literal politics, culture war nonsense, and stuff like that.
Well, let's continue with the video, and we'll press forward. But this is the bullshit she has to go through during her hearing.
Why are you not allowing her to answer the question? There's
You're
not
over
another
the time
senator
by
here
2.5
that you've not allowed her to answer the question.
You're finished.
I'm not asking another question, but allow her to answer the question, Chairman Durbin.
Thank you, Chairman
Why
Durbin.
do you not want the American people to know what happened in the Stewart case or any of these cases? Chairman Durbin, I've never seen the chairman refuse to allow a witness.
Look at his face. He's laughing.
You can bang it as
Like
loud
this
as you
guy.
want.
I can just tell you, at some point, you have to follow the rules.
Okay, will you let her answer the question? You've been interrupting, and by the way, with Senator Graham, it went 10 minutes over. You've
sure
taken a
did.
big chunk of the time. Will you allow her to answer the question?
You've given her.
Why
no
are you afraid of her?
opportunity to
She's
answer.
welcome to answer it right now. Will you let her?
Senator Coons.
Will you let? So no, you don't want her to answer the question?
Senator Coons.
Will you let her answer the question?
I treated those cases and every
All
case
right.
very serious.
So this is the next one. This is at what, 11:15?
Yeah.
The time.
Yeah.
All right, you could go ahead and play this. This is Holly now.
Seriously, and imposed a sentence that was sufficient but not greater than necessary to promote the purposes of punishment.
Judge, you
In
gave
this
him 3
area,
months. My question is, do you regret it or not?
Senator, what I regret is that in a hearing about my qualifications to be a justice on the Supreme Court, we've spent a lot of time focusing on this small subset of my sentences, and I've tried to explain.
You regret that
Many
we're focusing on your
times-
cases? I don't understand.
No, no, no. I'm
Look-
talking
look.
about the fact that you're talking about
Child pornography
7
cases?
very serious cases.
I'm glad we agree on that. Don't you think
Some
we should be focusing on
some of which involve conduct that I sentence people to 25, 30 years.
3 months
for-
in this case, Judge. Do you regret it? You haven't answered my question yet. Do you
Senator-
regret this sentence?
Senator, I would have to look at the circumstances.
Wait, hold on. I can't hear you for some reason.
My bad. I had myself muted. Just to jump in real quick.
Okay.
Josh Hawley is he's a massive right winger. He's a massive homophobe, transphobe, racist, you name it. He's proven it time and time again through his rhetoric. So a lot of this is faux outrage, fake outrage. It's not real. He's not really concerned about child pedophilia at all. There's just a black woman who's trying to get a position that he doesn't want her to have. That's literally it.
And to be fair, also that is it, but also it's a pick from a Democratic president. You understand?
Well,
the
yeah,
President
that's the point.
Biden picked her, and they're Republicans, and their donors don't want anyone in the Democratic Party to be appointed to the Supreme Court. They want to fill it up with Republican, religious nominees. They want to fill it up with those, and they have 3 people in the Donald Trump's presidency. You know how lucky that is? He only did 4 years, thank goodness.
Mm-hmm.
And he got 3 fucking picks.
Yeah, it's bad.
You understand? So that's crazy. And by the way, I'm sure, I don't know about the other one, but Brett Kavanaugh and Amy Coney Barrett are hella religious, and that's concerning because you don't want religion to play a part in their judgments, especially Amy Coney Barrett, who is known to be part of a cult where the husband, and this is the cult's rules, but the husband is in charge of making any decisions that she is supposed to make. So she cannot make a decision without consulting with her husband. That's what her religion teaches. How the fuck do you have a woman like that on the Supreme Court? There's going to be a case and she's not going to push forward until her husband puts his input. So this is what we should have been concerned about. The Republican politicians, and I would probably assume 1 or 2 or 3 Democrat politicians, they confirmed that bitch, Amy, quick.
Oh,
like 1, 2, 3. You know what I'm saying? 1, 2, fucking 3. And they're trying their hardest to make this Ketanji look bad, but it ain't working too well. Not in the eyes of any American who's paying attention.
Right.
You know what I mean? Go ahead, brother.
What I'm telling you.
You know the circumstances. We discussed it for half an hour yesterday. There's a 55-page transcript, which I'm sure you've read. You lived it. As you've emphasized to this committee over and over, you've lived it, right? You said that you've been through all of this. You've looked at all of the images. You're the one who's had to endure all of it. You gave him a 3-month sentence. I just wonder if you regret it or if you stand by it.
When one of my teachers...
You could close it now. Let's go to the other video with her. And I just want to show you Marsha Blackburn. I had one with Ted Cruz. Fucking forget about Ted Cruz. Okay? Ted Cruz is talking about fucking critical race theory.
Yeah.
Actually, the video is actually pretty good. We should probably show Ted Cruz because it shows her answer is pretty good on that one. But let's go to let's start with Ted Cruz. Fuck it. 7:45. Ted Cruz. Let's do it.
That melds together myriad types of law, criminal law, and of course constitutional law, critical
Look at
race
this idiot.
theory. So you described in a speech to a law school what you were doing as critical race theory. And so I guess I would ask, what did you mean by that when you gave that speech?
With respect, Senator, the quote that you are mentioning there was about sentencing policy. It was not about sentencing. I was talking about the policy determinations of bodies like the Sentencing Commission when they look at a laundry list of various academic subjects as they consider what the policies should be.
Okay, but you were vice chair of the Sentencing Commission, so let me ask again, what did you mean by, because that was an official responsibility of yours, what did you mean by what you...
So he takes her out of context, and then when he takes her out of context, he gets caught being taken her out of context, and he acknowledges it by saying, okay, well, you still said this, so explain, you understand? This guy's a fucking joke, bro. And you know what? It pisses me off because that's how he feels about his Republican voters. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He thinks they're dumb. He thinks they're dumb. Well, he knows they're dumb. I'm sorry, Republican voters. If you're watching this show, I mean, some of you guys are just naive. Some of you guys are not paying attention. Some of you guys focus too much on trans rights and fucking gun rights. All right? But you're not paying attention to the economic policies being pushed by the Republican Party. You're not paying attention to the bullshit and the fakeness that they display every fucking day, especially now. He just got caught in a lie, and look at his stupid ass face. Like, I mean, Republican voter, Democratic voter, Independent voter. When someone gets caught in a lie, and then they fucking just puts the straightest face, you just want to slap the shit out of them. You know what I mean? And I mean, I guess we could all agree to that, at least, right? All right, go ahead, play.
Slide does not show the entire laundry list of different
academic
disciplines that I said relate to sentencing policy, but none of that relates to what I do as a judge.
So let me ask you a different question. Is critical race theory taught in schools? Is it taught kindergarten through 12th?
No.
Senator, I don't know. I don't think so. I believe it's an academic theory that's at the law school level.
Okay.
It is.
As you may recall, during the confirmation hearings of Justice Amy Coney Barrett, there was a great deal of attention paid to the fact that Justice Barrett served as a board member on the Board of Trustees of a religious private school, and the press focused very intensely on the views of that school. In your questionnaire to this committee, you disclosed that you are similarly on a board, specifically the Board of Trustees for the Georgetown Day School, and that you've been a board member since 2019 and you're currently still a board member. Is that correct?
That is correct.
In regard to the Georgetown Day School, you've publicly said, quote, "Since becoming a member of the GDS community 7 years ago, Patrick and I have witnessed the transformative power of a rigorous progressive education that is dedicated to fostering critical thinking, interdependence, and social justice." When you refer to social justice and the school's mission on social justice, what did you mean by that?
Thank you, Senator, for allowing me to address this issue. Georgetown Day School has a special history that I think is important to understand when you consider my service on that board. The school was founded in 1945 in Washington, D.C., at a time in which, by law, there was racial segregation in this community. Black students were not allowed in the public schools to go to school with white students. Wow. Georgetown Day School is a private school that was created when 3 white families, Jewish families, got together with 3 black families and said that despite the fact that the law requires us to separate, despite the fact that the law is set up to make sure that black children are not treated the same as everyone else, we are going to form a private school so that our children can go to school together.
Wow.
The idea of equality, justice, is at the core of the Georgetown Day School mission, and it's a private school such that every parent who joins the community does so willingly with an understanding that they are joining a community that is designed to make sure that every child is valued, every child is treated as having inherent worth, and none are discriminated against because of race.
So, Judge,
so pause that.
All of us will agree.
To be honest with you, I forgot completely what he was going to say right after this. But just focusing on what she just said. I mean, when he asks her, what do you mean by social justice? He's going to try to pin socialism on her because of the word social. And her answer completely fucking slapped the shit out of him. He wasn't expecting an answer like that. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, the social justice thing is, he wants her to kind of say the key words that they want to hear, you know, that Republicans want to hear. So he knows social justice, what that means. He knows what that means. And pretty much he's trying to bait her to say woke things. You know what I mean? But she didn't.
Right.
She didn't say any woke things. She just answered him.
Right. That's a way better take than what I said. Let's see what he says, and then we'll go to Marsha Blackburn, and then we'll move on to the amazing win by the Amazon Union, ALU.
Agree that no one should be discriminated against because of race. When you just
of course you agree with that.
A minute ago that you didn't know if critical race theory was taught in K through 12, I will confess I find that statement a little hard to reconcile with the public record, because if you look at the Georgetown Day School's curriculum, it is filled and overflowing with critical race theory. That among the books that are either assigned or recommended, they include Critical Race Theory, an introduction. They include The End of Policing, an advocacy for abolishing police. They include How to Be an Anti-Racist by Ibram Kendi. They include
sounds like a
literally
good book.
stacks and stacks of books, and I'll tell you two of the ones that were most stunning. They include a book called Anti-Racist Baby by Ibram Kendi. And there are portions of this book that I find...
Look at the sign in the background.
One portion of the book says babies are taught to be racist or anti-racist. There is no neutrality. Another portion of the book, they recommend to babies confess when being racist. Now, this is a book that is taught at Georgetown Day School to students in pre-K through second grade, so 4 through 7 years old. Do you agree with this book that is being taught with kids that babies are racist?
Yes.
Senator,
She's stressed.
I do not believe that any child should be made to feel as though they are racist or though they are not valued or though they are less than, that they are victims, that they are oppressors. I don't believe in any of that. But what I will say is that when you asked me whether or not this was taught in schools, critical race theory, my understanding is that critical race theory as an academic theory is taught in law schools, and to the extent that you were asking the question, I understood you to be addressing public schools. Georgetown Day School, just like the religious school that Justice Barrett was on the board of, is a private school.
Okay, so you agree critical race theory is taught at Georgetown Day School?
I don't know, because the board is not, the board does not control the curriculum. The board does not focus on that. That's not what we do as board members. So I'm actually not sure.
Well, and I'll note that the board is chaired by Professor Fairfax, your college roommate who introduced you yesterday. So the two of you serve on the board together. Another book that is on the summer reading for 3rd through 5th.
Just told him she has no power on the books or the curriculum, and look, he's just right back on it. Look at his book. Look at his book.
It is an astonishing book. On page 33, it asks the question, can we send white people back to Europe? That's on 33. That's what's being given to 8 and 9 years old. It also,
I doubt that.
on page 115, says the idea that we should pretend not to see racism is connected to the idea that we should pretend not to see color. It's called color blindness. Skipping ahead, here's what's wrong with this. It's ridiculous. Skin color is something we all absolutely see. Skipping ahead, so to pretend not to see color is pretty convenient if you don't actually want to stamp out racism in the first place. Now, what this book argues for is the exact opposite of what Dr. King spoke about on the floor of the Lincoln Memorial. And are you comfortable with these ideas being taught to children as young as 4 in respect to the first book, as young as 8 and 9 in respect to the second book?
Senator, I have not reviewed any of those books, any of those ideas. They don't come up in my work as a judge, which I respectfully hear.
Obviously, he could be taking those books pages out of context, like he's just been caught doing moments before.
From
so
my near decade on the bench.
Okay, good.
I am.
Then let's go back.
I'm done with this fucking asshole.
Okay.
All right, so here is the last video I want to show on this, and you know what? This is Marsha Blackburn, her turn. Hella supportive of religion in government. Hella supportive of anti-abortion policies. She's definitely considered herself pro-life. And this is going to definitely, it should scare you guys that there are Republican senators like this who push for these type of things to be relevant in American society and law. But you should be happy that Ketanji Brown was selected to be the next Supreme Court justice, because this is what we just dodged. Go ahead.
For me, Roe v. Wade, let's talk a little bit about that. It's come up, touched today. In my opinion, that was an awful act of judicial activism and has cost the lives of over 63 million unborn children. And nearly 50 years later, this shameful ruling remains binding precedent, but the battle is being fought in the courts. And as you know, and as we discussed when we visited, the Supreme Court is reconsidering whether the Constitution protects the right to an abortion in Dobbs. And if you're confirmed, you will be in a position to apply the court's decision in Dobbs, whatever that decision is going to be. And you've talked about following precedent and what the court decides. So do you commit to respecting the court's decision if it rules that Roe was wrongly decided and that the issue of abortion should be sent back to the states?
Senator, whatever.
Oh man, the wordplay in that.
Dobbs will be the precedent of the Supreme Court. It will be worthy of respect in the sense that it is the precedent, and I commit to treating it as I would any other precedent of the
There's
Supreme
one, can you explain to me on a constitutional basis the court's decision in Roe, and where is abortion protected in the Constitution?
Abortion is a right that the Supreme Court has recognized is one of the kinds of rights that is unenumerated. It is in that same category of rights that the Supreme Court has recognized.
But the text of the Constitution does not mention abortion.
That is true.
That is true. That is correct.
No, but it mentions
So you agree
liberty.
that the Constitution
And women
does not mention the right
have
to
their liberties
abortion.
protected by having the ability to do whatever they want with their bodies. That's what the Constitution says. All men and women of the country shall have liberty, freedom, and the pursuit of happiness. So that's what she's not saying. And also, I will say this: Did you see her wordplay? She goes,
Yeah.
"You are someone who," she goes, "You are someone who values precedent. So will you stick to the precedent if we were to change Roe v. Wade and be for that?" It's like, no, you fucking bitch. The president is in favor of Roe v. Wade. Roe v. Wade was passed. So Roe v. Wade, the president is women should be allowed to have abortions. That's the president. You understand? So, or precedent. So that's the wordplay that she just did right there. If you're not paying attention, bro, you would think that the president is the fact that Roe v. Wade is bad and that it's going to be taken off. That it's already off. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's
So-
a complete right-wing framing.
Horrible. Well disguised written question. You know what I mean? That's what pisses me off. But evidently, this woman doesn't want women to have the right for an abortion. She's completely against it, and she's against it for religious reasons, which should scare the shit out of you guys, because the last two Supreme Court nominee people that was nominated and approved by the Donald Trump administration and Congress at the time, the Senate at the time, those people are for getting rid of Roe v. Wade.
Yes.
They're for it. Mm-hmm. And so the fact that she was put in, it's still not going to be enough. They're still outnumbered. I think it's like 4-6 or some shit like that, or the numbers,
6-3.
or 6-3. And you better hope one of them motherfuckers just do the right thing, right? And make, two of them to even tie.
Yeah.
Right? 4-4? Oh, man.
Yeah, it's awful. It's awful that they're even...
It's horrible, man. Women's rights are being attacked now in states. If you were watching our last episode, Texas, I believe Alabama, and maybe Idaho?
Missouri.
Yes. And this is what we have to deal with, man. We can see how this ends. Maybe she shuts it down.
And yet, through one of the most brazen acts of judicial activism, Our Supreme Court created the right through Roe v. Wade. This is why Americans, this is why so many women that I've talked to are really concerned about who sits on the federal bench.
And I want to thank Judge Jackson.
The women that she's talked to. What do you mean, the fucking midwives from the church you attend?
Yeah, it's
who are already married and no one even wanted to hear about the word abortion.
Yeah, she's just speaking for every evangelical out there, every fucking disgusting ghoul who just wants to pass their fairy tale book as law. So,
Yeah. All right, man. We're gonna move on to the amazing victory by the first independent labor union in America, I believe. Made by a man named Chris Smalls, who this was done in Staten Island, New York. Absolutely amazing news. So many union pushes have failed in other states like Alabama and Kentucky. A lot of union busting going on there. Amazon, obviously owned by Jeff Bezos, richest man in the world. He has a lot of power. And I know that in New York, just because we're on it, he donated a lot of money to the New York City Police Department. And because of that, when there was protests being done, Chris Smalls was actually feeding the workers. He was there barbecuing and feeding the workers that were on strike, or that would listen to him and be supportive of the union efforts that he was making. He was arrested by police that came out of nowhere and just straight up arrested some of the people that tried to help him or try to find out what was going on. He was actually in jail for 6 hours before they let him out because he didn't do shit. Yeah. Feeding people is not a crime, everybody. Feeding people is not a crime. But they're trying to put out that is a form of union busting because they're trying to scare and intimidate people who are for the union, saying, listen, if you do this, you're going to get arrested. You may get in trouble. You'll lose your job. Stuff like that. I actually found a video of the Amazon union busting training video. And listen, it's 30 minutes. Obviously, we're not going to watch the whole video. You don't need to. All you got to do is listen to the first fucking 50 seconds. I'm just, balling it out there because this is hilarious. Go ahead.
Welcome. We're excited to have you at this training, specifically designed to give you the tools that you need for success when it comes to labor organizing. During this course, we'll cover several important topics, such as our position on unions, associate rights, signs of employee disengagement, and how to identify, escalate, and address associate concerns.
You have to press the little arrow to keep going. No, him. He just do it.
In this section, you will learn Amazon's position on unions, why we prefer a direct working relationship, and how to discuss unions in an appropriate tone that fits Amazon's culture. At Amazon, we aspire to work hard.
Got Amazon crushes onto the union word.
We respect the individual rights of our associates and have a variety of open-door mechanisms to encourage associates to bring their comments, questions, and concerns to management. This direct connection with our employees is the most effective way to understand and respond to their needs.
I like how the little guy is a brown guy and the guy talking is a white dude. So fucking stupid.
And to support the rapid innovation and operational flexibility that are keys to our success in raising the bar on customer order fulfillment. Unions pose a threat to this direct connection. This commitment to a direct connection with our associates makes union representation unnecessary. We are not anti-union, but we are not neutral either. We will boldly defend our direct relationship with associates as best for the associate, the business, and our shareholders. We do not believe unions are in the best interest of our customers, our shareholders, or most importantly, our associates. Our business model is built upon speed, innovation, and customer obsession, things that are generally not associated with unions. When we lose sight of those critical focus areas, we jeopardize everyone's job security, yours, mine, and the associates. Likewise, our culture values a robust, open dialogue between associates and managers, so we can work together as one team, continuously innovating, simplifying, and improving things for our customer. As we'll explain later in the course, a union severs the direct working relationship between associates and managers that we value so highly. While we understand unions work in some industries, they would conflict with our culture, customer obsession, and direct working relationship. In summary, it's important that we create an environment where associates feel safe sharing ideas, raising concerns, and asking questions, including questions about unions. We don't badmouth unions in general, but we will speak openly with associates about unions, including any specific concerns about particular unions involved in organizing. And we share our preference for a direct working relationship frequently and boldly, even when no organizing activity has occurred.
I mean, it's just like the most blatant lies. You could pause it here. I didn't even reach this far before I got fucking pissed off. I mean, they're saying unions are going to cut communications between the associates and the managers. How in the fuck is that make any sense at all?
Yeah,
I mean,
the translation.
it's a direct contract between the unions and between the managers and the associates. It's like, yo, listen, these are our concerns. You know, without a union, they can fire you whenever they want. If you keep bitching about your schedule, you're done. You could get fired.
And that's the translation of that. That what you just said is literally the translation of unions are going to cut off the communication between managers and employees. Literally, what they're trying to say is we can't fire people whenever we want to. You know, now we can't do whatever we want to our employees because of the union is in the way now. Which, totally. That's correct.
That the union should be in the way. You can't just put me on a fucking midnight shift after I just got out of a mid shift. Like, bro, I gotta go home. I gotta rest. Nope, you have to, or I'm sorry. This is your schedule.
No breaks.
Sorry,
no bathroom breaks. No resting. Nothing.
No bathroom breaks. I mean, and their union busting is getting out of hand. I mean, they're in several court cases throughout the country because of their union busting tactics. There's a video of some of their employees taking out pro-union literature out of the break rooms. They're literally being caught taking the information out of the break rooms. They're not supposed to do that legally, but there's videos out them doing that. They even went as far as to get the city to change the speed of the traffic lights so that unions who are trying to gain support from past cars passing by would barely be able to do so because the light changes so fast that the car has to go. It's green light. And so they don't get to talk to the people who are driving by. That's happened in, I believe, Kentucky. And I'm sure it happened in Alabama. So that's Jeff Bezos utilizing the police and the governor of that specific state to alter the way the traffic lights happen or get the police to arrest the pro-union workers outside the building for no apparent reason. I mean, it's blatant.
Yeah.
How much?
And the police, a union job, by the way.
Yeah, police are a union job, which is kind of
workers to
ironic.
Pro-union people.
That's right. But if you donate to the union and you donate to the police department directly, no problem. We'll do whatever the fuck you want. You just gave us mad money. You know what I mean? So it's just a shame that the richest man in the world is trying to hold on to every fucking penny he possibly can. Just like Scrooge McDuck in DuckTales. I mean, this guy is ridiculous. He's worth billions, people. Billions. Getting a union for all your workers is not going to change any money out of his pockets. It's going to make his workers' lives so much better, but he doesn't give a fuck about that. The fuck? You know what I mean? So it's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah. And it's not honestly Jeff Bezos, he's trash. He's a billionaire, but it's also, the top executives at Amazon. You know what I mean? Jeff Bezos at this point kind of has like a hands-off approach with Amazon. You know what I mean? He's just collecting those dollars at this point. You know what I mean? He's going to space. He's on his yacht. He's chilling. He's barely making any executive decisions involving any of this because he just doesn't give a shit. Obviously, it's literally Amazon as a whole, as a corporation, their executives, all of their higher ups who are doing this, who are arresting protesters and people trying to unionize and creating creating garbage like this. This is awful, you know?
Horrible. Imagine, and you know what? A lot of those workers, they're forced to go through this. When they get hired, part of the hiring process is to watch this 30-minute video of them trying to convince you not to help yourself. Allow us to fire you. Allow us to keep you at low pay. You know, it's kind of disgusting. But the good news about it is that Chris Smalls, an activist, civil rights activist, pro-union, obviously he created his own union called the ALU, Amazon Labor Union, the first union to pass through. On an independent level, completely self-made, self-paid, and he's the CEO of ALU, and he won. It was a big achievement, and it's going to spark kind of like a labor revolution throughout the country, hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, there's already other, other unions or aspiring unions popping up throughout the country. I think most recently with Starbucks.
Correct.
I can't remember where, but they're fighting for a union there for Starbucks. I think one of them did pass. I can't remember which one again, but regardless, yeah, like you said, them winning is gonna hopefully set off a ripple effect throughout the country, and hopefully gain momentum with unionizing, especially when it comes to unionizing for these larger corporations who, obviously they want total control over everything, over their employees, over what they do, what they say, their PTO, everything. You know what I mean? So,
yeah,
what we need to do as a working class and as a labor movement is to neutralize that and prevent these corporations from having total control over us. Even if you don't work for, a mega corporation. I don't work for a mega corporation. You don't work for a mega corporation. That doesn't matter. We should want equal labor rights for everybody. You know what I mean? Because just because we don't, doesn't mean our friends aren't or our family isn't or, anybody. It doesn't even matter if they're related to us or not. Labor rights are labor rights. And to see these large corporations violate these rights and treat people like shit, like nothing, like garbage, like prison workers, it's awful, and that needs to stop.
Yeah, on that note, when you mentioned Starbucks, I remember this story. I had a friend who closed the closing shift, so he closed the store at like 11 o'clock or something like that, and he had to wake up and open the store at 5 o'clock in the morning. And I'm like, that's like fucking 4 hours, bro. Like, what the hell? That's horrible. And he's like, yeah, well, that's why I had to work. That's my schedule. I tried to get it changed and they didn't let me. And that's the kind of shit you need unions for, so that shit doesn't happen. You know what I mean? So it's very real. I'm sure a lot of our viewers who are watching us talk about this, they've been through it. Mm-hmm. They've been through it. I'm sure you've had a job that just fucked you. Like, nope, you can't take that particular day off. Nope, you can't come in at this time. Sorry, you have to come in. The meeting's mandatory or some stupid shit like that. So with that being said, you should be happy that they won out there in Staten Island and see what happens. I know you got senators like Bernie Sanders. He just wrote a tweet, 100% for Chris Smalls and the ALU. He's for it.
Yeah, I think
Bernie Sanders, of course, known.
He's going to be joining them, I think, this week, or something like that.
Yeah, that's what progressive senators, Congress people, politicians, that's what being progressive is all about, supporting the people. And that's why I consider myself a progressive, and so does Denny. We just want policies enacted that support the people and not the corporations, especially all the goddamn time. You know what I mean? All right. With that being said, I know you had something with Disney. If you wanted to talk about that,
yeah.
And I had something with. I have Kathy Hochul.
Let's do that.
Who is the? Yeah, no problem. We have Kathy Hochul, who is the governor of New York. She was appointed because of Andrew Cuomo's corrupt scandal, a sexual harassment scandal that he should have been. He got taken off of office because of all the corruption he's been doing, but he got taken out by culture wars, cultural issues, women's sexual harassment, which he's probably been doing. Powerful men tend to do that. They can't control themselves, too much power, and he was caught doing that. He had to step down. So she took his place, Kathy Hochul. Of course, lifelong Democrat, corrupt just as much as anybody else. And with her newly found power of being the governor, she is in favor for $850 million giveaway to the tax cut to the NFL owner, Terrence Pagula, who owns the Buffalo Bills out there in New York, and also the NHL Buffalo Sabres, I believe. And he wants $850 million of taxpayer money. That's my money, Denny's money, to help build this, update his stadium out here in New York. And if you don't do it, he's gonna go move to Austin, Texas. I mean, what the fuck is going on with that shit? Mm-hmm. I mean, the balls that someone has to say something like that. I mean, think about it. I mean, you're basically telling New Yorkers, give me what I want, pay for what. I'm a billionaire, but pay for my stadium. I don't want to pay money for that, or I'm leaving. That's how much I don't give a fuck about you guys. I don't care about the sports culture out here in New York. I know in Buffalo, New York, the Buffalo Bills are everything. You know what I'm saying? So for you to slap all those fans in the face because you're too greedy to spend the money that you definitely have on your own fucking stadium, and you're trying to use corruption and loopholes and little backdoor deals to get us to pay for your shit. I mean, the audacity. I mean, he should be shunned, but a lot of people pay attention to politics, and that's what you got.
It's typical billionaire strategy. Give me what I want. Give me my tax subsidies, or I'm leaving. Amazon did it. Many corporations do it. Many billionaires do it. Give me what I want, or I'm gonna leave. And see ya. You can leave. Take it easy.
So get the fuck out then. Get the fuck out.
And that also goes to show, like Eric said, these owners don't care about the fans of the teams. They don't give a shit. He doesn't care about the Buffalo Bills fans or the Sabres fans. They don't care, dude. They don't give a shit about any of the fans and their loyalty for their favorite team. They don't care. They want their tax breaks. They want their money. And that's it. If they don't get it, all the loyal fans can go fuck themselves and go find a new team to cheer for. And that's pretty much it. That's their strategy. That's what they do.
Absolutely. And interesting enough, there are companies that they are in favor of the stadiums being upgraded or repaired, or even a brand new stadium being created, because they may sell the food there or the merchandise in those events, and they make money through that. One of those companies is called Delaware North, and she actually has close ties with that company. They have close ties with the NFL. With the NFL team, with the NFL owner Pagula, because they make money off of his success, right? Yeah. So let's find out why she is even interested in giving this tax break to Pagula. Let's play Sam Cedar's The Majority. This is from The Majority Report. Sam Cedar. This is how I learned about the story.
Her husband is a senior vice president and general counsel for Delaware North, the major food concessionaire at the Buffalo Bills' current Highmark Stadium. So they currently provide the food at the current stadium. I mean, Nomi said it doesn't need updating. It might. It does. I disagree with the concept of it being paid for by the taxpayer when you have an owner that's worth billions of dollars. But he was essentially saying,
You're not.
Yeah.
You're not. It seems a little bit sexist to assume that just because Governor Hochul has a husband whose every bit of his material interest is tied up in the success of this company that is going to benefit mightily from this this huge tax investment in essentially allowing his company to make significantly more profits. You're not suggesting there's some type of relationship between that, are you?
That would be very self-hating of me as a woman.
Yes.
Self-hating feminism.
You got to support Hochul.
She's a woman.
Yeah.
She slays. But just to reiterate the point from yesterday, this is why we need more community-owned professional sports franchises, because the Pagulas are threatening the state of New York, and they have leverage here because Hochul and her husband want to financially benefit from it, but they have leverage because they were saying, we're just going to go to Austin.
Right.
We'll be the third NFL team in Texas.
And this is always how it works. The Minnesota sports teams are
How
familiar with
stupid
this,
is that? To have two teams already in Austin, Texas, or in Texas, and then you have this motherfucker saying, "I'll be the third team. I'll be the third team."
They don't care.
How is that? All of a sudden, Texas got 3 teams playing for them, bro. Like they're not even gonna know who the fuck to root for. Like, I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I think they have multiple teams in Las Vegas. I mean, wait, is it Nevada?
Well, California has multiple teams. Las Vegas has one team now, I think, right? California has several teams. I mean, New York has 3 teams right now, but it's still beyond the point. Like, you're gonna leave because you're a little bitch who doesn't, is not getting their tax break to make their fucking stadium.
And it's interesting, like they said, they just announced her husband works for North Delaware or Delaware North. I mean, that is absolutely, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, everything's connected, bro. They're all making these deals. They don't give a fuck about anything else but their own pockets. Just pay attention, man. These things are happening every day. I see these things every day, and it just pains me to know that people, that motherfucker, this whole scandal should be all over the news. All over the news. Corruption. You know what I mean? And by the way, she has a lieutenant governor under her who has recently been arrested. This man has been arrested because of campaign finance schemes. Someone under her that she's allowed to be part of her administration as governor of New York is arrested because of campaign finance schemes. I believe his name, I think I have it here. Where is he at?
Speaking of that, while you look it up, the state senator that I brought up, I forgot to mention this, you just reminded me. The state senator that I brought up in the last episode, Gustavo Rivera, who I saw at the Majority Report Live show, every one of his predecessors has been arrested. Every one of his predecessors in his seat before him has gone to jail.
Oh my God.
That's insane.
That's fucking crazy, bro. And I live in New York and I didn't know that.
Yep.
You know what I mean? I follow politics and I didn't know that. Start paying more.
Oh, you muted yourself for a second, but you're good now. You're good.
I gotta pay more attention to fucking New York politics because that is insane. By the way, the lieutenant governor, his name is Brian Benjamins. He's the one who has been arrested, and that's the one that's under Kathy Hochul. I mean, her election's coming up, guys. Like, me and Denny, we're gonna find out who is the progressive running against her, and we need to put all.
Hopefully, there is a.
I'm sure there is. But if there's not, fuck it. Go for the liberal Democrat. Like it's gotta be someone other than this bitch. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
With that being said, I know let's move on to Disney.
Yeah.
To the Disney controversy all over America right now.
Yeah, this is going to be the little entertainment part of the stream for the most part, I suppose. Right wingers are upset as always because they always need a cultural thing to cling on to. They really can't really argue in terms of policy and things like that because the only stuff they have is, don't say gay shit and anti-abortion shit and stuff like that. So,
Right.
as hard as they want to go on those things, they know that that's a losing argument. It's hard to really win an argument there. And yeah, so the right wing, specifically the far right conservatives, they need something to cling on. It's always something. It's always something new. And the new thing now is Disney literally just, including some LGBTQ characters in some of their movies or shows and whatnot. And of course, conservative parents are, they're upset. They're going to turn my child gay or, whatever they think. Yeah, I don't know. They think gay is a contagious disease. And they're showing a lot of fake, phony outrage all over the internet, whether it's Tucker Carlson, who we're going to see here in a second, or Candace Owens, or Charlie Kirk, or Ben Shapiro, or Dave Rubin, who's gay.
Wow.
And yeah, so we're going to take a look at Hassan Piker, one of my favorites, one of my go-tos for political news. And it's just going to be a few minutes.
Highest paid. He's the highest paid Twitch streamer in America.
No, he's the number one leftist streamer in America.
There you go.
He's the number one politics streamer in America. But as far as Twitch goes, no, there are some pretty high paid Twitch people.
You probably got the actual gamers that play, right?
Yeah, the gamers are
the actual pro gamers.
I mean, he's up there. He's up there too. But good for him. All right, we're just gonna watch a few minutes of this. Let's take a look.
No doubt. Let's do it.
In Florida, they can in fact change their gender just by wishing it so. It makes you wonder if kids in Florida can consent to chemical castration with no parental involvement. If that can be true, what exactly can't they consent to once we set that standard? Disney.
What the fuck, Tucker? Oh my God, I can't believe Tucker Carlson came out in support of trans rights only because he thinks like that means he can do pedophilia. That's weird. A classic libertarian brain at work here. He thinks that is how that works, but it doesn't, unfortunately for Tucker, because, one is not damaging to the child. As a matter of fact, it's harm reduction for a child, specifically a trans child, if they're able to get early on, if they're able to get.
By the way, I didn't try to look like Hassan Piker on purpose. This is complete accident. Complete accident.
Yo, I was just seeing that, man.
I should put a hat on. This is total.
I don't know, man. His beard is a lot better than yours. I gotta say.
Yeah, he's a brown guy, so brown people have nice facial hair.
You could still fuck him up.
Get hormone blockers, puberty blockers. On the other hand, is just incredibly damaging. Pedophilia to the child is the child's development. So sorry, Tucker, it's not going to happen like that. Okay. Also, no such thing, no such castration, no such chemical castration occurs. What a deeply, deeply disgusting way of describing a process that does not occur at all. Nice try, Tucker. You couldn't let that slide. You fucking pedophile piece of shit. You libertarian motherfucker.
Disney didn't say. But maybe there's another agenda, nor did they explain their fixation on the sexuality of children. But it's worth pointing out that...
fun fact, once again, Tucker Carlson has quite literally defended pedophiles in the past.
And I was just about to say that.
And have said it's not a big deal when white people do it. The Tucker Carlson thing I'm talking about is 100% true.
Here, this is not a mere cultural difference. No 13-year-old child can meaningfully consent to marry. In the United States...
For the record, I agree. I agree with that.
If an adult has sex with a middle schooler, we call it rape. But when government...
So he said this, and then he turned around and he said, when defending Warren Jeffs, he literally said...
He's not in prison for that. Warren Jeffs didn't marry underage girls.
No, he's in prison for facilitation of child rape.
Whatever the hell that means.
That means
he's in prison because he's weird and unpopular, and he has a different lifestyle that other people find creepy.
No, he's an
cult leader, white supremacist cult leader who conducted multiple child marriages. That's cool. By the way, he also personally did marry underage.
That's why he's in jail. What?
Yeah.
How is this guy how is he the number one fucking analyst in America now? Does he get
by saying stuff like that?
Oh yeah, he says the most racist pedophilia shit, and people love it, and they watch him religiously.
girls as well, but he also married them in his own cult to other adults. But here it is. I mean, here's Tucker Carlson quite literally defending it. Hassan, you're being lifestylist. Yeah, I am. So remember, that's Tucker Carlson's position. Okay, let's move on. Let's talk about what is he saying? Chemical castration.
Disney employees were just busted in a major human trafficking sting, including one employee who allegedly sent sexually explicit text to a detective posing as a 14-year-old.
Wait, what?
Their main, quote, goal as a company is now to teach kindergartens in Florida that they can, in fact...
Dude, the irony here is that, like, he is always, while maintaining the position that I just showed you, he then also will literally fucking say, like, random employees are basically, like, responsible for, like, everything that the company is doing. I don't even know who the fucking employees are. I never know who these, like... I never know what the details of stories like this are, and I'm certainly not going to find out from watching Tucker Carlson because he is here to present a perspective. And that perspective is that basically having a conversation even about like the existence of LGBT members in society is the same as grooming kids to do sex trafficking. Like that's literally what his argument is here. Let's make no mistake. That's precisely what he's trying to say. And that is also deeply homophobic. It's a super old school homophobic take too, to be like, oh yeah, every gay person is like grooming children by being gay around children. That's like, you're grooming them. It's just super old school, super old school fucking homophobic bullshit. Let's hear the whole clip now. Actually, let's watch the whole one.
Groups like the HRC have decided
we'll finish up
to push this propaganda as hard as they possibly can. And they don't care what you think because it's not about democracy. It's not about...
Yeah, they've just replaced gay with trans, and some dumb motherfuckers, specifically in the gay community, okay, specifically the L's and the G's, unironically jumped on that shit so quick, it was fucking mind-boggling. I'm like, dude, are you stupid? Like, this is literally what they said about you 10 years ago, you dumb fuck. Why are you...
Anyway, we'll cut it there. He Hassan rants a lot.
But, yeah, he's a ranter. I never watched him before. I won't lie to you. He's funny.
Hassan, I mean, I would recommend Hassan and Majority Report. Those are my go-to. But
okay.
Yeah. But there you go. You know, the flavor of the month for conservatives is anti-LGBTQ anything, really anything. That's their go-to right now. You're going to see it everywhere, you know, literally anything everywhere, whether it's the don't say gay, Disney shit, whatever it is, that's what their focus is right now. Gay stuff. They love it. They love that shit.
Well, here's the thing. They tend to go to these cultural issues when the midterms are coming up or presidential elections coming up so that the talk could be about these cultural issues. They know that there are racist people or sexist people or people who are homophobic. They know that these people feel strongly. If you are homophobic, you probably feel really strongly about it, strong enough to vote for the person who you think is on your side in those issues, completely disregarding the economic policies that they're also for that will fuck you in the ass. So what I'm trying to say is like, this is just all a strategy from the Republican Party as a whole. And what I mean by Republican Party as a whole is that I'm also including Fox News. The Republican media are going to push these stories out. Yeah, definitely. They're definitely part of parties. You know what I mean? MSNBC is part of the Democratic establishment, just like Fox News is part of the far right-wing part of the Republican establishment. So with that being said, you know, they are doing this right on time for those elections. And also, they don't have anything to stand on, bro. This is all they have. You know what I mean? And it's crazy how people don't pay. It's crazy how the Republican Party are so against fucking pedophilia. You know, you got QAnon. You got, you know, all these OAN news networks that accuse Democrats, even accuse Ketanji Brown of being a pedophilia. Meanwhile, look at what Tucker Carlson is saying. You know, when asked on a radio show, hey, you know, your 14-year-old daughter shouldn't be going to border school. She should be, this is the podcaster saying this to Tucker on his show. She should be in bed laying with you. And he goes, well, you know, if she wasn't my daughter, you'd have a good idea. Yeah, that wouldn't be so bad. So if she wasn't your daughter, you'd be cool with a 14-year-old girl laying on your bed? You sick fuck. You sick fuck. And the podcaster's horrible too for even saying that his daughter would lay down in his bed. Like, that's mad weird. What are you talking about?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Guy, has a radio show, right-wing radio show, Bubba the Love Sponge. He's just a disgusting person. He's awful. But so is Tucker. You know, that's cut from the
Tucker
same
went
cloth.
on his show. Literally went on his show almost every week back in the days, and would have conversations like I just said. It's recorded, folks. Look it up.
Yeah, and let's
You know
not
what I mean?
forget, like a year, maybe 2 years ago, Tucker Carlson's lead writer was fired because they discovered that he was a far-right neo-Nazi on Facebook. His lead writer.
Wow.
So, you know the reason he's still on TV is because of the shit that he says, and you know, there's a large audience for that. Clearly, he gets the most views of anybody on cable TV. So, you know, he's never gonna get canceled or fired or anything like that. He's their bread and butter. So, you know, but people need to be aware of the type of shit that's being put out there. It's gross. It's disgusting.
Absolutely, man. With that being said, stop fucking having such a rotten ass brain, you motherfuckers. Wake up! Let's pay attention a little bit more, guys. These things are happening, and some of these policies are being passed. You know, it's gonna be hard to reverse this. You know what I mean? So let's put in the right people, and let's just do better, man. Let's do better. Let's be aware. All right.
Yep.
All right, man. I think that does it for episode 8. I like the energy. I didn't tell you anything, but I did like 3 puffs of smoke with this blunt I have on the side, and
cool.
But I don't think it affected me at all.
Nice.
I gotta say.
Nice. I'm glad.
Now I'm off to work.
There you go.
So I have not admitted that, but I don't think my coworkers will ever watch this. So.
No. I don't tell my job anything about this. I can't.
You can't. Yeah, fuck that. With that being said, guys, yeah, man, let's we're gonna wrap it up right now, and you know, are you still streaming, Denny?
I'm going to get back on that very soon. I got a few other things to take care of to straighten out. I am gonna start streaming MLB The Show on Xbox.
Oh, okay.
Maybe a little bit of my New Game Plus in Elden Ring.
Ooh.
Because I did complete it. I did beat it. It took a long time.
That's impressive.
I mean,
and you beat it by yourself.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
Yeah. It's so much fun. I love that game.
I started my file all over again because I'm trying to play fair on my own.
Do it. Go for it.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit of WWE 2K22. I do want to get on that a little bit. Probably stream that. So yeah, I'm gonna start streaming soon, real soon.
All right. Well, maybe I'll look into getting that game myself. I haven't played a good WWE game in a very long time. I used to be real nice and No Mercy, but with that being said, Falco Die Fear with a 0. Follow my stream, guys. I usually stream in the weekends towards the night, mid to night time. And I play a whole bunch of different games. So right now I'm heavy on For Honor, Halo Wars 2. But come hit us up, man. I love the episode. And
great episode. Please
do it again.
Please subscribe, like. If you're random, if you just stumbled upon us, we need all the support we can get. I am looking into some graphical improvements for the podcast, make it a little pretty. So we'll see there. But yeah, episode 8 in the books.
Episode 8 in the books, guys. You guys have a good day and be safe out there. All right. Peace.